therapy piece for us, it was like taking like modern day healing practices and then like traditional healing practices, like how we turn to like natural resources for healing practices, and doing like that bush tea and therapy together. Like we could keep the culture alive, we could do the traditional, the natural, but then we could also like
incorporate.
Yeah. And like one of the things that we were talking about is like there's a segment of the population that we don't ever get to touch because they don't have access to services, like they don't have money or they don't have insurance. So it was like we need to create some kind of room for them, you know, a way for them to get help. So then we decided to start a private foundation where we could raise money.
An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's heavy. That we want to get in there before the issue is any bigger. Mm-hmm. The issue is there already. You know, like you can see it. You look around and like you see the issues of not having access to mental health therapy, or even not having the space to have a conversation about the stigma. And it's like, well, I ain't talking about it because I don't want nobody to judge me. I don't want nobody to think that I can't deal with what I have to deal with. It's like that's impossible. Like, it's a lot that we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. A lot of this, a lot of life trauma that happened to people, especially within the islands, like, you know, we're Caribbean, our parents don't come from great backgrounds, like especially being that back in the days, mental health wasn't even a thing. Mm-hmm. It was like
completely dismissed.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, like you're crazy. Don't talk about that around here. Don't express yourself. Yup.
And then they take that and then they bring it down generations. So like all the stuff that the parents had to deal with and the way that they learn to cope with it, they teach that to the children.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like, they have all these unhealthy behaviors. And it's only through like maybe like over the last few years I've been able to sit back and reflect and be like, oh, like that's not mine. Like that behavior, like I've learned it from someplace.
Just learned behavior.
Yeah.
People don't want to be the change first. So they don't want to, like I've heard it, like, why would I treat you better? This is how my mother treated me. And it's kind of like, I understand that to some degree, it's all you know, and probably this is the very best version of yourself. But if you feel like this is who you are, I think that we should not limit ourselves to like this is who I am. I think who I am and who anybody is ever transforming. Mm-hmm. You're not the same person. You'll never be the same person. And the day that you leave this plane, you're not the same person. If you could keep that in mind, then that means that you know, I was not that great yesterday. Today I am great. Today I am better. Tomorrow will be better. You know.
Change is scary.
It is for sure.
And being the first person to do a thing is scary.
Exactly.
You know, so then to tell somebody like, they might be like, yeah, I know that this stuff ain't healthy. All of the stuff that I learned ain't healthy, but like, I don't know what on the other side of that new thing that you're asking me to do. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna stay here where I know.
I'm comfortable,
Yeah, that's what the meet them halfway part that really come into. Like, because as a therapist, I can't go in there saying, let me apply just the things that I know and I believe in. Like, I have to like meet you halfway in a session. Like when I show up, I have to come with an understanding that you've been through things that impacts the way how you see life. Mm-hmm. And even to like your decision to come into therapy, it's like, man, that's a big decision because nobody else in your family, nobody else in your environment either tell you that it's okay or feels that it's okay to go to therapy.
The whole t-shirt campaign, and you don't necessarily have to go to therapy. You don't have to be the one that going to therapy, right? But like you can contribute to somebody else being able to have a session. You know what I mean? Like you buy a shirt and you contribute to somebody going to see a therapist and getting the help that they need. I mean, the whole process of like design coming together was all we meeting each other halfway anyway. Like, and you could talk on that.
Yeah. There's definitely a good amount of back and forth between UpperClass and Greater Changes because I'm particular about what we put out in the world and how we want to represent ourselves. And with this collaboration being Greater Changes idea, they already had certain things that they wanted to see on the shirts or certain concepts that they were, already playing with in their heads. So at first we definitely had a lot of back and forth and a lot of honestly transparency, and especially just expressing that, well, I don't really feel that too much, and it was on both ends. They would tell us that, well, we ain't feeling that too much because of who we are and how we have to present ourselves. The whole Meet Them Halfway, actually, this was the last idea, and it came as a result of the back and forth and the reality of really working with someone, you really have to meet them halfway, because as Tariq says, it's like you don't know who someone is and you don't know what life they had before you. So it's like you could never fully even try to understand that. So you just have to really meet them where they are.
Like these are the conversations that have to happen. Like this is how you create change. Like it's not just a therapy, it's not just getting the money, it's like we have to start with a conversation, see where people are at, and then go and meet them.
This is an effort to take it into our own hands to make sure our community healthy, you know, like to take care of each other.
If you could reach them, like that's the prevention over cure.
Yeah.
You know, so like
It's not just buying items from local designers, right? It's not just the representation, but like a voice, like their voice, because that's the stuff that they're talking about.
like, 'cause you know, like Facebook that posts like your memories from way back when.
I need to follow like a trend,
Yeah.
like kind of vibe. Yeah.
And like I look at the stuff that I was saying 20, 21, 22 compared to what I'm saying now, and it's like I'm a lot quieter now. Just because like I don't know if I lose it or I just kind of like realize like I have to like duck and just kind of do stuff. But like when I was 20, 21, like I was saying whatever I wanted, and like so now seeing how I do it, it's like I did it. I like really like just saying whatever. You know, we feel that way. You know?
Yes,
Being loud before wasn't okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay, like there wasn't enough like at a path like carved out for being loud, and now it's there, like, and it's necessary. We'll only create change if we talk about this stuff.
Correct.
And ain't comfortable, and ain't pretty.
Exactly.
You know, ain't in a nice little box. And it might not have the nicest words to describe it, but it is what it is. Like
The reality is that whatever you're not familiar with will always look crazy to you. It will always look crazy to you, and you know, that's sometimes you have to shake things that have been normalized for so long, because you don't realize that it's not really normal. We've just been doing it for a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Decades of just doing a thing in a particular way, and then the minute you say like, yeah, this don't make no sense to me. Like, why not do this a different way where everybody else will benefit, or where somebody don't have to feel the pain of what come when you do it that sort of thing way, like. But then you get a pushback, and I
No, you
understand.
didn't get the crazy peer pressure. People watching you like,
Don't say nothing. Like,
why are you in the spotlight?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Like,
don't make no waves.
Yes.
You guys,
Even like within the theme of like meeting them halfway, understanding that people who tell you to not do a thing differently or to stay quiet, like it's not out of like malice or ill intent. Like they have seen the consequences of trying to talk loud.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of like I remember before I moved home, like I had conversations with my mother, and like I was like, I mean, when I say I was loud, like I said whatever I felt like. I mean, I wasn't like cussing nobody when I'm being like belligerent or nothing, but like if it's the truth, I can say it. But my mother was like, Derek, you can't say those stuff. Like people are you gonna get a job here, and people gonna treat you funny because, and for somebody to feel like you won't be able to make a living in your home if you keep on saying stuff, that's a great reason to not say anything, right? But like, then things don't change.
Exactly, and that's where the difficulty of change comes in. Do I not make everybody's life difficult and fall in line? Or do I take a risk and maybe change everybody's life for the better? But whatever it is, either do I want to shake them up or do I want to shake myself up? You know, that's a decision where people don't know how to. I have for a long time didn't know how to go about that either. You know, make a decision that was for myself. It was just more, let me just fall in line. And I feel her. That for sure, that is a great risk. You could risk losing your job. You could risk being completely segregated from your own community. You know, you could be ostracized from your own community. And that is a very difficult thing for a person who already on the bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy. They're already there trying to survive on a basic level. They ain't even reached their spiritual growth and passion. They're just trying to survive. So if you threaten their survival, there is no way they will ever reach that point where they will feel like, yeah, spiritually, this is some bullshit. And I need to break this this pattern. I need to break this line of ants that we are following, you know?
What we doing and what we trying to do is to shift the culture, because like culture's not static. Like it don't sit still. Like it evolve, it becomes something different, and we could change that. Like we could shift the culture, our mindset about all kinds of things, and if that's our wellness, then that's what we're gonna do. You know.
Yes, sir.
And now we'll be dropping this collaboration between Greater Changes and UpperClass OG for AgFair. So for AgFair, we'll have the release of this special one-of-a-kind collab.
And all the funds would be going to the counseling sessions with Greater Changes. So that way people who cannot afford it will be able to now have therapy sessions available for them.
Yeah, counseling and like community outreach, so that we could be out there in the community and do the work.